Hey YouTube, it's Aiden. Reminder, if you want to listen with me, check the link in the description. Welcome to Science Thursday on the channel. It seems like we get this question a lot on Reddit, and I kind of get tired of answering it because it just seems really common sense to me. Then again, I'm older, I've had more experience, so let's explain this. There's a lot of people who want an adapter from a small shank receiver to a large shank mouthpiece. Think about it for a second, let that percolate. I have some examples for you. So I have two mouthpieces here. They're both Bach 3Gs. One is small shank, one is large shank. Different sizes, right? Small shank almost kind of fits in the large shank. The cool thing about all mouthpieces like this is that they are the same taper. So this is a lot smaller, but you can line them up and they'll stay parallel because they have the same mechanical, grade or whatever taper to this stuff. Just this has been made to be larger. There you go. That's large shank and that's small shank. Cool. I have two lead pipes. It doesn't really matter what these are from, but this is a large shank lead pipe and this is a small shank lead pipe. Obviously, they're different sizes. This makes sense, right? If you're confused why this one looks so weird, this is a King 3B two-piece lead pipe. So as a receiver, that is just meant to hold the mouthpiece, then the kind of lead pipe starts after that. But normal small shank lead pipe would look just like this and have the same kind of opening at this end. So, obviously, large shank lead pipe, large shank mouthpiece, it fits and it goes in that far. It's like 3/4 of an inch is like the right amount. And then for the small shank and small shank lead pipe, ta-da, goes in, it seals, and it goes in about the same amount. This one might be a little too far. No, that's about right. That fits, great. Now, for the science part, we have a large shank lead pipe and a small shank mouthpiece. How is this going to work out? Well, it goes in and then it wobbles around because it doesn't actually seal, it just kind of stops at this large part after the shank. So that doesn't really work, right? So we have adapters that basically take this size and make it this size. There's a little thing that goes in here. Actually, I have an example of a French horn adapter. This is a French horn mouthpiece to trumpet size adapter. This is what you would use if you want a French horn mouthpiece on a mellophone. Never do this, by the way. It sounds awful. It's just like the worst way to play mellophone. But that's an example of an adapter. We've got a smaller shank and a larger receiver, so you can have this little thing that sticks out and kind of makes up that space. And they make the same thing that converts small shanks, there we go, I don't need to say anything else, to large shank receivers. So you have like a little thing that sticks out, and this will actually fit because there's a thing in the middle that makes them fit together. I don't recommend these. They don't sound very good. There's kind of no reason to use them because there's just way more large shank mouthpieces than there are small option-wise. So like there's kind of never a reason to do that. And if you're using too small of a mouthpiece on a large shank instrument, it sounds bad and it's the wrong choice. So adapters in general, not a big fan. The problem is we get a lot of people who have a small shank instrument and somehow they end up with a large shank mouthpiece. And they're like, can I get an adapter for that? And every time I'm like, all right, real quickly, think about this. You even have both of the parts with you right now. Small shank receiver, this is the trombone, this is like the upper slide tube. And you have a large shank mouthpiece. You try and put them together, and this doesn't even, it's almost the same diameter. If you look at the ends here, they're almost the same diameter. They just like meet up. One does not even go close to getting into the other one. So how would you make an adapter for this? Just think about it real quick. You'd have to have something that fits into this, that's small shank, and then would sit entirely outside of this for this to go into. So it would basically be like doing this. It would be sitting even a distance away from the receiver. So if you had a trombone, the whole thing would have to be like an inch plus farther away from you than it would be with a normal mouthpiece. Just for reference, that's how far it would go in normally, and this is where it would be if you had this mythical adapter that doesn't exist. Like a good inch away from you. And messing with that distance, one, isn't good ergonomically because then everything is pushed farther away. First position is now not here, it's here. So you're going to constantly bang into your face. And that's just going to sound awful because you're going to have this thing that's not the lead pipe that's sticking out of the lead pipe, making the mouthpiece longer. Intonation's going to be wrong. Response is going to be wrong. It's not going to sound good. And it's just a common sense thing. These can't go together. So how would there even be an adapter? It just doesn't make sense. So just use that a little bit of, I don't want to say common sense because I don't really like that word or combination of words, but just use that brain, think about it mechanically for a second. How would these go together? They can't. And if you have a problem with that, get a small shank mouthpiece. There's still plenty of options, and there's even some big ones. Like I said, this is a 3G. So is this small shank one that fits just fine. There's always an option out there, and if nothing else, get a different instrument that'll fit your mouthpiece to do the drastic thing. So, in overview, don't use adapters because they're awful, and if you have a small shank trombone and a large shank mouthpiece, there's no option. Stop trying to look for an adapter. It doesn't exist. I'll see you guys next time.